What's going on, YouTube? RDAP Dan here, Federal Prison Time Consulting. Hope you guys are all having an amazing Tuesday, Monday? No, today's Monday. Happy Monday. We have Gloria with us. Gloria is somebody that actually went through the federal prison system herself. She was a police officer, got wrapped up in some craziness, and just came on. That was annoying. She got wrapped up in a bunch of craziness with drugs and just all kinds of chaos, went to prison, just a story after story, but here she is, and she's going to tell us how she turned her life around, the steps she had to do, and she's going to take us a little bit through that journey, and then she's got some questions for you guys. So Gloria, welcome. How are you doing today?
I'm well. Thank you for having me.
Awesome. And I see you got there in the background, you and me, so you got some positivity flying around in the back there.
Always.
So we're giving everybody a few minutes to join us here. And guys, in all the show notes here in the description of the video, there will be stuff that we talked about. If you want to book a consultation, there's a link in the description of this video, and I'll drop it in the live chat as well here in a second. And at the end of the video, I'm also going to post Gloria's contact information for social media if you guys want to follow her to see what she's up to and what she's doing. But this is a pretty wild success story here, and Gloria will tell you how we got introduced. So Gloria, tell us a little bit about your situation, kind of how this all started for you, and tell us what you're doing right now, first off, so we can kind of hear something positive.
So first of all, I'm a NASM certified personal trainer. I do that for a living. I work at a gym. I manage a small gym. And then I also clean Airbnbs on the side for, just some extra cash. So I'm really busy. I keep myself very active and fit. So.
Okay. So did I lose you? There you are.
No, I can hear you.
So so how did you get into this? What was it that started? Like, were you always in fitness? And because you were a police officer at one point, and you don't necessarily look like somebody that's been into federal prison, nor do you sound like somebody. So it kind of, there's that generalization that people think about when they hear about people going to prison. So now take us back. We see what you're doing now. And how long did it take you to get to this point?
So it started back when I was in the police academy, 2012, I believe. I was in the police academy, so of course we had to work out multiple times a day. So after we did our academy stuff, we'd go and rerun 1.5 miles every day. We do like some CrossFit stuff, some Krav Maga. So that's kind of where it started. And I was like, okay, I really like this. And of course, I was going to be a police officer, so I had to stay fit. I mean, that was my mentality. I have to be able to survive. So that's kind of where it started. And then of course I went down the wrong path. And then once I went to federal prison, once I got to where I was at in Arizona, I was like, you know what, like, this is my life right now. I have to figure this out, and I'm going to do something with it. I'm not going to just sit here not doing anything. So I started educating myself about fitness. I started reading books. I started talking to some of the girls that were getting about 4:30 in the morning, running in the morning when everybody else was sleeping.
This is all while in prison, right?
Yes. So then that's kind of where I was. I was like, I'm sentenced to 60 months. So I'm going to either feel sorry for myself and not do anything with my life and, get unhealthy, or I can say, hey, you know what, I'm going to do something with myself in here while I can. So that's what I did. I would just follow the girls that were, doing things that they were supposed to be doing.
So how did you end up going to prison? Take us, I know there was like, first off, you don't even seem like somebody based on your past story and the scenes of individuals you were spending time with. It doesn't even seem like somebody that would be interested in being a police officer. Yeah. But what ultimately got you into trouble? What was that process like? Because, there's such a contrasting difference. We have the mugshot over here, which let's kind of bring this in with us. And this was you is this when you got arrested?
Yes.
And this was in
2014.
And ex-Walsenburg cop sentenced to 5 years in prison on drug charges. So what kind of drugs was being dealt with there?
So it was heroin. I believe it was like 13.5 ounces, if I'm not mistaken. So it's kind of a long story, but I'll try to sum it up as fast as I can. It started back when I was growing up. Of course, just not growing up in the best household here and there. My grandparents raised me. I went back and forth between my father, my mother, my stepfather, and I'd run away. Of course, living on the streets, you kind of learn stuff you're not supposed to learn. So it started kind of from childhood, in and out of foster homes, stuff like that. I became promiscuous. I started experimenting with drugs, alcohol. So like that stuff wasn't new to me. And then of course, my early 20s, I had my first child, it was a good relationship, but I just wasn't ready to settle down. So that was all my fault. So I left the first relationship with my older son, which is 19 now. I got in another relationship, got pregnant a couple years later, but it was just an unhealthy relationship. He was in and out of prison. I'd wait for him. It'd be the same story. I'll do better. I'll do better. Promise, just the same stuff, over and over again. And of course I'd wait, he'd get out, and then he wasn't doing what he was supposed to be doing. So of course me being with him, I was young and naive. I didn't think it would affect me, but everything he did affect me. And hence why I ended up in federal prison, just getting caught up with the wrong people, doing the wrong things.
So ultimately you were sentenced to 60 months in federal prison, which interestingly enough, that those are above your guideline ranges. What were your guidelines? What should you have been sentenced to if it was going off of the recommended guidelines?
So he got 10 years. So I was his co-defendant. So I was going to get 10 years, but I got a federal lawyer and pretty much spent my life savings. And I said, let's try to get halfway house. Let's try to get halfway house. Like I haven't gotten in trouble. Like I was a police officer. So I was like, there has to be something that, that can work for me. And then I got in trouble again. So that didn't help the situation, which made it worse.
So, and I think I remember that kind of is what made the judge a little temperamental. So we'll talk about that a little bit. And we have Scott Oler in the room with us. Scott also went through the system himself, and the feedback is always welcome. Scott is saying she's making excuses for her own actions, and I think what Scott is relaying to from what I'm hearing is talking about the relationships and how they were unhealthy relationships, and this is why you ended up going to prison. I think Scott went through RDAP as well, and I think the direction Scott's going in with this is you knew you knew right from wrong. Now, were they bad relationships? Did they not help with the decision making? But I think where Scott's coming from is we can only blame ourselves in the end.
Yeah, definitely. It was definitely, I made that choice.
And I think as you get to know her a little bit better, Scott, I think, first off, this is the first interview she's done. So I know there's a level of nervousness there to talk about some of this stuff. But she's coming from a good place. She's been reaching out to me for a while, guys, and she's really trying to get her own story out there. I imagine it also helps you as well. Kind of like it does all of us, sharing what you've been through is therapeutic for you, but it also can shed light on others. So with the day you pled guilty, right, you did your change of plea. Mm-hmm. What happened the very next day?
I mean,
this is where I'm talking about where I thought it was when you got arrested again.
Yeah. I just got caught, and
what were you doing like this? And this is the contrast we want to share with people. Like you pled guilty, you did your change of plea in court. And then the next day you went and sold more, right? You sold, I think it was crack cocaine. Is that what I was reading?
Yeah. So this is the thing. I didn't get caught with anything. You know what I mean? It was just, I was hanging out. I was going to go talk to somebody who had drugs. Right. And that's when the cops came, and it just looked bad. It just,
you had the children in the car with you?
I did. Yes.
Yeah. Cause that's the story explains it like online there, the day after you pled guilty, you got rearrested for selling crack cocaine.
Yeah, I think it was like the day before Halloween. Yeah, and
they dumped that hard because first off, that plays really hard in the media.
Oh yeah.
And did that have some effect on the judge's decisioning to sentence you to 5 years?
I would imagine. Yeah, he basically said that you're screwing up. Like you're not saying what you're saying. Because I told him, I was like, and at that point, I thought I was a victim, right. Like I didn't think I was doing anything wrong. Now that I look back at it, I was like, what the fuck? Sorry. What was I thinking? You know what I mean? Like, what was I thinking? It was crazy. Yeah.
And what was, so when you got sentenced, because you weren't expecting to get prison time when you got sentenced to 5 years, what was the thought that went through your mind in that moment as a police officer with the same time? thought process?
So I once I heard the judge say 60 months, I quickly calculated and I was like, wait a minute, that's 5 years. And I almost passed out. Like I literally like felt my legs like buckle beneath me, and then my heart was just racing. It was hard to explain the feeling. I've never felt that feeling, and that is a feeling that I never want to feel again. But my lawyer had to like grab me by my arm, and he was like, "Are you okay?" I was like, "No." I heard my family crying behind me, so I mean, it was hard.
And did you get remanded there, or were you given self-surrender?
No, I was arrested before that, and then I was already incarcerated, so I think I was going
Oh,
straight
okay.
for
So
another charge.
you were in the entire time.
Yeah, I didn't get out at all.
And you had another charge, correct? And I think you said it was a state charge, and that one you fought and beat.
Yeah, I got acquitted at that one.
Okay. So sentenced to 60 months. What prison did you end up being designated to?
Phoenix, Arizona, the satellite camp for women.
Okay. So Phoenix, Arizona, the
Yeah.
satellite camp. And when you got there, what was it like compared to what you imagined it being like?
Um, well, compared to jail, it was like night and day. I was outside more. Um, it had like a huge weight area to work out. It had a track, basketball court. So I was excited about that. That's all I cared about. I was like, you know what? Like this is going to be my home. From jail to there, like I just wanted to get there and just like serve my time and just do what I had to do. I was so tired of like going to different locations. Like I went to Teller County and Jefferson County, and it was just stressful moving, getting to know new people, getting a new bunkie. That was stressful. But once I got there, I was like, you know what, this is it. Like I'm here. I'm gonna do what I got to do, and that's it. I kind of just by that time I was already incarcerated for about a year. By the time I got there, I believe so. It was already. I was just ready to settle down and just relax.
And you actually had weights in that gym.
Yeah, it was outside. There was a big canopy, and then there was like free weights, cable tower, squat rack. So that's where it was on from there.
And prior to that, you had no fitness degrees,
No,
you other than doing somewhat staying fit to be a police officer.
yeah,
Fitness wasn't a huge part of your life at that point.
no, no, it wasn't until I got to the camp, and then that's when I started educating myself, and I started reading books, and I started getting knowledge from other girls who have been in there like 10 plus years that knew what they were doing. So and then once I got into RDAP, they noticed that I work out a lot. And then, of course, part of my humility part was to teach a class. And I was like, teach a class? Like, I don't know nothing about teaching classes. I'm just here working on me. And then, of course, once I started knowing what the humility part was, I was like, you know what? Yeah, I'm going to do this. I'm going to help out other people. So I taught a class of 24 plus girls for 3 months.
And it was like a cardio hit type of a class.
Yeah, it was just different stuff. We had all kinds of different equipment. So whatever I could use, I would just teach it. But it was like full body stuff.
Now, did you become a certified fitness instructor in prison or once you got out?
Once I got out, I
Okay.
told myself once I got out, I was going to work at a gym. Once I work at a gym, I'm going to get certified as a personal trainer. And then I was going to go from there. And then that's exactly what I did.
Let's see here if we can.
Hmm.
So as you guys can see, here's her. This is her Instagram, and I'll post a link to this. But you can see she's at the gym a lot. She's training at the gym. She's no joke. She's teaching the classes. She's putting in the time, and this is all something that started while you were in the prison system.
Hmm. Yep.
And this is, I know Scott. A lot of people in here are probably curious. It's like when you come home from prison and you want to do these things, you want to teach classes. What kind of mindset did you have to put yourself in to go out there and be open and honest about the situation and what you're doing, to be able to go out and present yourself and ask for a job and let them know you're an ex-felon? Because these are all thoughts of people that getting ready to go in, they think no one's ever going to hire me. I'm going to have to talk about this. It's such a scary thought process. How did RDAP help you with all this? And was RDAP what you thought it was going to be? Did you take anything positive from RDAP?
So when I first went in and I knew I qualified for RDAP, I had no clue what it was. But I told myself, I told myself, I thought it was a joke. I was like, this ain't, how is that going to help me? What is it going to, just so many questions. I was just like, I was so negative and just bitter. Um, so then once I got into the program 3 months in, I was like, wait a minute, like something's happening because I'm not thinking the way I used to think. And then of course, and anybody who's been through RDAP knows how it works. So, um, of course, I started letting go of people that were there with me that I used to hang out with that were getting me in trouble because I was still doing stuff I wasn't supposed to be doing in prison. Once I moved into the RDAP building, that's when I started, my mind started changing and my actions were changing. Everything started changing. But yeah, I
How much time did you actually serve? How much time did you get off for RDAP?
a year.
So you got the full year off?
Yeah. Yeah, but once I started doing it and actually working with the program, I became a big sister. So then it really got real. So then I was a big sister, I was a senior sister. I started being more engaged in my community. And then I told myself, I said, you know what, like this is where it's going to start right now. Like if there's going to be any change in my life, it's going to start here. If I can't make it in here, well, in a controlled environment, I'm not going to make it out there. So I'd wake up every single day before count, brush my teeth, wash my face, do everything I had to do, get counted, and I go straight to the yard to go work out. And I truly, really believe that as much as going to prison changed my life and my kids' life, like it was for the better. I mean, I tell people that all the time, like prison, it's not a place to be and I would never want to go back, but it's something that I needed to do in my life because I was at the point in my life where I was going so far backwards that I would have lost my kids. I was so skinny and unhealthy. I mean, I just wasn't living right. Nothing I was doing was right. So it was a blessing in disguise, honestly. Like I tell people all the time that like if it wasn't for prison, my life would, who knows where I'd be, honestly.
And I think a lot of people feel like that once they come home but going through in the beginning stages, it's so hard to, even people hearing you say that right now that are getting ready to go probably are like, man, like how is that even possible? And we both know it is, and so is everybody else that's gone through this. But since you've come home, you've done some accomplishments. You've received, let's see here, you actually got all kinds of degrees here. Let's start off with, let's see, where did it go here? So she's become certified in sports medicine, certified personal trainer. She teaches Zumba and HITT, full body boot camp. She's also become an EMT certified. And you're currently, so you did all of this after prison, and you have these credentials that you can carry with you for the rest of your life. What do you want to become a firefighter? That seems like that's something that's big on your list. That is it more for the purpose of wanting to be able to accomplish it? Is it more about the journey, or is it something like, has there always been a passion to do firefighting?
So I'd say like D, all the above. I was a police officer, and then so that's the thing is I enjoyed that community involvement. I loved being out in the community and interacting with people and helping people, and but the part that wasn't really sitting well with me either was the criminal part of it. It's just I became bitter. I was an alcoholic. I started messing with drugs, and it's like just to try to stay awake. So I mean, there's stuff that it was not sitting. I didn't have any coping skills for sure. There's just a lot of different things. So when I was in prison, I thought like I want to do something along the lines of that, but not completely that. So I was like, oh, personal training is great. Like I'm helping people. My body's getting normal. I'm starting to be healthy. And then that's kind of where it started. So I was like, well, what can I do that's going to be the same thing, but, not have that criminal aspect of it. Right. And so that's where I was like, well, firefighting, it's fitness, it's physical. You have to be physically fit, or that's, what I mean.
And you're running into problems of right now of a lot of the fire departments that you're, at least in your area, they don't hire felons. Is that the problem you're crossing?
Yeah, a lot of the locations that I apply for, it's an automatic disqualifier. So it's like so you do the application process. If you get past that, you do your poly and your psych test, and then you do a CPAT, which is a fitness test, which a lot of women don't pass. That's just what the statistics are, and what I've talked to several firefighters. And then you do the interview. I'm sorry, what?
Is it because of the physical requirement?
Yeah, it's intense. So yeah, I mean, that's I don't even get to the process to even meet anybody to say, hey, like, this is who I am. This is what I can offer you guys. I don't even get to that point because felony disqualified.
And this is where we're looking for help from the community. Anybody out there that's either watching or might see this video in the future, feel free to shoot me an email or text, which my number is on the screen. You can see it at the top. It's also in the description. But if anybody has been through something similar or knows of different jurisdictions or cities, states that they know where felons have been able to be employed as a firefighter, it'd be great to hear, because we know there's a lot of prisons that actually use the inmates as firefighters, but yet they can go get a job at that same fire department once they get released, which is kind of weird. I'm not sure how I feel about that, but it's we did have a video we posted. We did an interview with a guy named Aaron a couple of years back, who actually I met him in the Federal Halfway House, and I believe he was in Washington State. He was able to become a firefighter. Many hoops he had to jump through, many no's he had to take before he got to a yes, but he was able to do it there. So I don't know if it's similar to where you are or if it's just a mandated no. But we would love to hear from anybody that has either had some experience or some knowledge in this area using our community's method over here. If you guys know or how to become a firefighter in a different area as a convicted felon, shed some light or send an article. We'd love to read that. So right now, today, here and now, you're with you've said you got your child with you right now. So your child's there. So clearly you've got your kids back. What are you doing today for work? Like what's a day of work look like for you right now?
Okay. So I wake up at 3:30 in the morning. I'm ready by like 4:30. I'm at the gym, training myself from 5 to 6. And then I start my personal training, from 6 to 10 a.m. And then 11 to 1, I clean Airbnbs. So from there, I go back to the gym and then I start my manager shift. And then I do memberships. I straighten out the gym, help the trainers if they need anything. And then that's till 6 p.m. And then after 6 p.m., depending on if I got a good workout in during the day, if not, I'll work out with my girlfriend at 6 p.m. until that's over 7-ish, 7:30, go home, make dinner. And then I am so tired by the time that's done. Like I shower and then that's my day and I start all over the next day.
So you're putting in so you're going to bed 9-10 o'clock at night and you're up 5 to 6 hours later to start your day. So there's definitely no time for you to even make mistakes.
No. And that's another thing. Like I try to keep my lifestyle balanced, but at the same time, I try to, try to stay active. Cause honestly, like that's what helps. It helps if you keep a routine and you keep, just like when you're in prison, you keep that routine, you do everything you're supposed to be doing. I'm off probation. So, it's.
Oh, you are off. I was going to ask that.
Yeah. I got off from early release last year. I wrote a letter to the judge and they said, yeah, you're doing everything plus more that you're supposed to be doing. So
how much probation did you have? 3 years?
I had 3 years, but I got off about 1.5 years, I believe. That's when I qualified for it.
So you just filed with the judge and the judge approved it and terminated early. Nice. So now you're free and clear. You're able to do like a normal person. What normal is?
So I was, I was able to, I would have to, let my probation officer know if I was going to travel out of town. So that was kind of hard because I would travel out of town and do the hair and makeup for the bodybuilding girls that were in competition. And sometimes I'd be like, oh, I'm sorry. I didn't get my paper in time, so I can't go with you. So it was like I was missing out on opportunities then, but then,
Did you use that as part of your reason to help get it terminated early when you wrote a letter to the judge?
Yeah, because like there was time you have to do it like a month in advance. And sometimes I wouldn't know if the show was coming up until they let me know. And I'm like, oh, well, thanks. I only have 2 weeks.
Yeah, no.
So, yeah. And of course I had to let them know my work. I'm pretty open with everybody. They all know my situation. And they said, we would have never guessed.
So when you met your girlfriend, were you still inside prison or did you know her before prison, or did you guys meet after it was all over?
So when I got out of prison, I was in a halfway house. I got a job at Planet Fitness a month later. And then she was at another location. She was the manager of another location. So when I had to start a month into working at Planet Fitness, they said, we want you to be the trainer here. And I was like, okay, so I got certified with them. And then I went to her location and I had to get trained from another trainer. And then that's when we met. And then Been together since almost 3 years. Yeah.
And was it was she nervous when she found out you had like a criminal record? Did it make a difference? Was it something you were nervous to even bring up? And this is her, correct?
Yes.
Behind you? Okay.
Yeah.
Was it nervous for you to like say, hey, by the way, this is something I've went through?
So my manager at the gym that I was working at, she told her, because her name is Megan, she told her, she said, hey, Megan, she's like, what do you think about me hiring a felon? And Megan's like, what the hell's wrong with you? And she was like, she's like, no, but she's really fit and she's really cool. She's pretty. She's nice. You know, you'll like her. So she's like, now she's like, you know, I was kind of biased against people like that. But now she's like, it just, I just opened up a whole nother world now to her. Because she wasn't sure what, you know, you just kind of go by what people think and what they say.
You see what you hear on TV. And
So about a month later, she was taking me to go get my UAs.
Nice.
Yeah. So.
And that's been how many years now?
3.
Oh, congratulations. You said Megan, right? So congratulations to you and Megan.
Thank you.
It's, you know, and this, guys, this video is also part to show that, you know, whatever your fears are, ladies and gentlemen, that are getting ready to go into the prison system, most of us will tell you when you come out on the other side, if you want to do better, you can. And prison is a great place to kind of like reset your mind. Mm-hmm. You got no cell phones. You've got not a whole lot of distraction. You got a routine. You get up, you do your routine, you stay healthy, you can eat right, you can get your mind right, reading books. And it sounds like you've been able to kind of reinvent your life so you're no longer defined by your past. And the only way people even know about your past now is when you're sharing it in a situation like this. You also went through some childhood trauma as well, which that in itself is something, you know, I don't know if you want to touch on that at all, but there's probably a lot of young girls that experience that type of trauma and don't feel like there's anybody they can talk to and kind of hold it all in and start acting out. Are you able to shed any light on that, on what you wish you would have done, or what you advise for somebody else that might be going through something similar?
So, yeah. So, I don't even remember what year it was. When I was a child, you know, like I'm going to say 5+, I was sexually assaulted by a family member. And of course, you just, the way it is like you start acting different. You start, your mind changes, like a lot of things change, and that's just you go into like survival mode. So because it was happening at home, I would run away from that, you know, to try to survive. I would leave home. I'd run away and get taken back, go back. So I mean, it's hard to explain, but you do what you have to do at that time. So of course, that's when I started experimenting with drugs and alcohol, trying to cope, trying to get away from what I was going through in a sense. So that's all I knew. That's the only coping skill I knew was run from things. So of course I'd run in relationships. I would run from my problems. And I would go to drugs and alcohol. Oh, something's going wrong in my life. What am I going to do? I'm going to go drink, go get high, you know, go do pills, go do whatever. And that's all I knew how to cope. So going to prison took that away from me. It didn't give me the opportunity to go grab something like I would have out on the streets.
Did you ever tell anybody when you were a kid? Did you ever go to your parents or another family member?
Yeah, I did. I mean, nothing happened. So it took me a long time to forgive the person who did it. And I only recently forgave them when I went to prison and I was in RDAP.
Did you forgive them like you told them, or you forgave them mentally?
I forgave them mentally, and then I wrote a letter, like if I was writing it to them, but I didn't send it to them. But what that did was help me release what I needed to release. And, you know, it's one of those things like they're still in the family. So it's not like I could be in front of the person and not react, because that's just what you do. You know what I mean? I mean, it's one of those things like I'm an adult now. Would that person ever do it again? No, you know, but I mean, either way, right. I figure somebody else will handle that at a higher power.
You can only pick and choose your battles. You can't
yeah.
But I guess that's the big step, is being able to forgive for yourself so you can move on and not carry that with you.
Yeah.
So I guess, I mean, to sum it up, you've gone through quite a bit, and if we had more time, we could really kind of go into that. But it sounds like the way you kind of were brought up and raised yourself, you allowed yourself to kind of go down a poor path
Hmm.
and you're no longer using that as an excuse or a reason or a justification to go out and, you know, do the easy thing, which is sit there and do drugs and get in trouble and make easy money. You're now getting up at 3 a.m. and not going to bed till 9, 10 o'clock at night, and you've got a child and fiance, and you know you're working like a regular person, but it sounds like you're happy. You sound happy every time I talk to you. You sound, I guess peaceful is maybe a better word. You sound like, you don't sound high strung. You sound very just kind of relaxed.
Yeah, definitely.
So guys, if you want to follow, there's a link to Gloria's information in the description of the video. Don't forget, tomorrow, guys, at 5 o'clock, we're going to be interviewing one of our clients who is preparing for sentencing right now, a white collar defendant. So definitely come watch that. 5 o'clock tomorrow. I'll probably post a link on that later. But Gloria, if people want to follow you, is it better to follow you on Instagram, Facebook?
Either one's fine.
Okay. And if you have any questions for Gloria, like maybe if somebody's interested in becoming a personal fitness instructor, and we're actually toying with the idea of creating a virtual, you know, prison fitness online class where maybe Gloria comes on once a week and she creates a little routine. All you need to have is your phone and wait to see the video. And Gloria will do some live workouts for us, and we can follow along and see if maybe if you're getting ready to go into the prison system and you want to kind of get in shape to be able to hang out with some of these prison workouts, there's no better time to start than now. So I think Gloria said she's down for that.
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's do it. All right, guys. Well, Gloria, thank you very much for coming on and joining us. We're about 30 minutes now, so we'll wrap this up. Guys, if you have any questions for Gloria, please leave it in the comments. You can send her a message directly, or you can send a message to me, and I'll get with Gloria. Gloria, thank you very much. I'm RDAP Dan, Federal Prison Time Consulting, People Helping People, Communities Method, one day at a time. All right, guys.